Hi, this is May Sayed Ali, and I'm the host of the G42 On Air podcast series. We are excited to be recording the G42 On Air from Mubadala studio. G42 is a technology company, a global leader in AI and cloud computing with the purpose of inventing a better every day. Each episode in this series will transport you into insightful market-leading conversations to drive positive progress across industries and societies, all in less than 30 minutes. Our guest today is Maymee Kurian, Group Chief Human Capital and Culture Officer at G42. With over 20 years of experience in the human capital space, Maymee's expertise lies in developing and executing human capital strategies to elevate the employee experience, drive cultural transformation, and build capacity at all levels within the organization. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about all things human, starting from building an effective company culture all the way to fostering psychological safety within the workplace. Hi, Maymee. It's so great to have you here at the G42 On Air podcast. Today, we're going to be touching upon a really interesting topic, all things human. So how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Maymee, can you tell us a bit more about your experience? You have been in human resources for the last 20 years. So can you tell us about your journey, one, and has it evolved over the years? Have your style evolved over the years? And if so, how did that contribute to your role at G42?
So I am someone who's lucky to study psychology and practice psychology at work. Very passionate about everything people. Coming from a business family, so leadership is something that I really love to study, and I have studied through psychology all this time. G42, I've been with G42 since 2 years and less than 2 months now. The journey of G42 is amazing. This is the first time I'm actually working for a tech organization. My previous life, I was with fashion, beauty, luxury industry. Again, in the human capital function. The question about evolution in leadership, it's quite interesting. My leadership style, if I have to speak about it, it's very simple. I hire very good people and I make them really great by giving them a unique journey through work, doing something which is very different than what they've done all these years in their previous experience. And individually, so I truly believe that the strength of a team is the individual member strength, and the strength of the individual team member is the strength of the team. So we bring them together as a collaborative community. Not only that, they are showing themselves and shine themselves as individual members, they also shine as a collaborative team, walking towards the same purpose, same successful mission. And extremely collaborative, one team. The leadership style that I've changed, I think one thing that I can think of is that previously I was very gut sensible person, so everything was about the gut feeling. I think over a period of time I've also started looking, layering the gut feeling with the data. And the data support, so that it's not just about gut feeling, but it's also the support of the data that I take my decisions on.
This is a very interesting way to look at it, because when you say gut feelings and the data, and when you combine them together, they can create magic.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
You spoke about collaboration, you spoke about from a good to great leaders. These topics I would like to touch upon like piece by piece, but I would like to start first with, you studied psychology, and I believe you're the person who knows we as a human, we're very complex. Am I right?
Absolutely.
We're simple but yet complex. So when it comes to our personal and professional behaviors, it's influenced with many factors. So how would you be able to create a psychological safety and ensure employees' well-being at G42 with this entire complication?
So we generally look at the micro, which is their people's motivation and their behavior. Then we look at the macro, which is the organization's culture and the organization's purpose, and then we see if there is a match between these two. And if there is a match, then that's really, really good to create a safe space to work for people. We also very much look at, as a human capital function, we do a lot of things that is not obvious to very many people. So I would say, it's like an iceberg theory. What you see is above the water level. Below the water level, there is a whole lot of policies, processes, rules, regulations that we create, which sounds kind of a taboo topic for people. However, that's most useful as a pillar of the organization to create a culture, which then becomes the founding document for fair practices and fair processes for the organization.
When you say it's a taboo, from what perspective? So people don't talk about it in details? Is this how you think?
When I say taboo, the minute you say human capital as a function, people think of policies and procedures.
True.
Yeah. That's only because originally a personnel function, was created in industrial ages only for policies and procedures.
It's not the case anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But policies and procedures are still important, and the rules and regulations and the way we operate has to be still there. But that becomes a pillar, which is below the water level that people might not necessarily see. And above what we see has become now the actual human capital function, which is reimagining the office space, reimagining the way we work, reimagining techniques, tools, processes that's needed for a newer version of work, which keeps shifting, which keeps changing every day.
And depending on the needs of the business and the people and the requirements.
Absolutely, and the complexities of the businesses that that hits us all the time with different requirements, different needs, different phases.
When it comes to the influence on attracting and retaining world-class talent, I believe safety is one of the main pillars and it's extremely important. But what would you say goes next after the safety to be able to attract and retaining the talents in the organization?
So, you said that people are quite complex in general. In my opinion, people are very simple. It's, in the end, everybody wants to see what's in it for them by coming into an organization and being a part of an organization. When I say what is in it for them, it comes through, the salary is not the same. Everybody pays a salary to employees who are working for the organization. But then what is the differentiator as an organization, as an employer, is what our people literally look at. And when I speak about people's requirement, they are very direct about their career progression, for example. What is it in it for me to stay in G42, and what will I see in 2 years' time? So the career progression is something that people literally look at. Community, collaborative efforts, working with others is something that we all long for, rather than having your friends mostly on your tabs. How can you really literally have people, human connection with various reasons that we create?
So if that's the case, can you give us some examples on how you foster this positive mindset and encourage a growth for both leaders and employees?
So I truly believe that people come together for a reason, or a season, or for a lifetime. So we create as human capital function if we really want to be efficient.
I love
effective.
this. I haven't heard before. So people come together, again, it's very interesting. Reason.
For a reason.
Okay, and then there's a season, which is a period of time, and then they leave.
Exactly. Or it's a lifetime relationship.
Like marriage.
Or it can be even friends forever.
You
could have friendship forever. You could have connections, network forever.
True.
You could have a network. You don't need to meet every day. You don't have to talk every day, but it's going to be, when you stick to this person.
Yeah,
exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
Exactly. So as effective human capital function members, we create these kind of reasons, and sometimes even seasons. It could be through, a sports day. It could be through, wellness, a discussion around wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. It could be about a topic, technology topic, like what can we do as a solution to this problem that we have at the moment. So we bring people together, and then that becomes a very strong community. We also have a belief system in our system, G42, called Hunt as a Pack. So we bring people together, whether they are CEOs or CTOs, or whether they are employees of technology or finance or human capital, and we make a reason for them to meet, or we create a season for them to meet.
That's a quiet learning lesson for me. I loved it. And talking about creating a reason to meet, collaboration, the community, we quite are aware of that till in these modern days, we still have the bureaucratic organizations, with rigid chains of command, and let's say it's still fear-based cultures, despite knowing that psychologically it has a huge impact on the people's well-being and the long-term overall productivity, because you can get something at the moment, but later on they will get completely exhausted and get anxiety. So what would you say, how should organizations provide the inclusive and empowering environment for their people to excel?
So gone are the days where employers are more powerful than the employees. Actually, employees, our people, can actually demand a great place to work at any point in time now, because if you look at technology, there are 100 companies around the world. If you look at fashion, there are 100 companies around the world. If you look at anything, healthcare, there are very many employers who are willing to hire people. If you look at an aggregate of the requirement of human needs, people needs in Abu Dhabi itself now, I can guarantee you there are, in G42, there is at least, we are looking for 500 people as we speak now,
Wow,
which means that
number.
the company is growing,
Yeah.
which is great. At the same time, it's, as an employer, we always need to show the differentiator as to what we can do compared to other organizations to attract and retain and motivate people within the organization. Now, that said, every person wants to really literally have a safe space to work and a secure place to work. So we spoke about it before, the a psychological theory of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which clearly states that the first thing that everyone longs for, whether it is at work, whether it is at home, whether it is in your country, is safety, security.
And what are the next pillars that you think that would help organizations to go into that direction of safety and to retain talent and make it a much happier place to work in?
Yeah, so I think I spoke about the policies, procedures, rules, regulations. When it is visible to people, firstly, that these are my maneuvering areas, what I can do, what I can't do, that itself is a very clear indication of an organization that, you know, we take a certain stand around certain things. This is one. Number two is that in G42 we literally have very authentic leadership. Our leaders really move around within a certain value system, and which means that it's not the human capital function which is leading the safety and secure place for the organization, but it's the leaders who are literally creating it for them. And when they see more and more role models, then there is a shift in people's behavior. Then they clearly know, what is that we can do, what is that we cannot do. Typically, if you look at the past 6 months of people who have been hired in the organization, got promoted in the organization, or removed from the organization, you literally know the culture of the organization. So that's the way we kind of move around, and we hold on to that cultural sensitivities and sensibilities of the organization.
Talking about the community and the organization and the culture, when I've had several podcasts from the different business that you have, I've noticed that G42 works across multiple industries and has multiple businesses. So the leaders, like how could you create this culture? And I know policies does have a huge impact, but how can we create this synergy with everyone that they can actually work towards a common goal, because sometimes you have to work separately and sometimes engage them. So how do you ensure that they are able to work together within this community?
So again, we have given certain belief systems. So we've created certain belief systems within the functions, within the organizations for leaders to maneuver. So our culture is very much based on 4 pillars, which is employee engagement, employee experience, employee evolution, and alignment. And everybody knows these 4 pillars very much, which then takes us to our employee net promoter score. We do every 6 months a pulse survey to measure the people's feelings or people's state of mind, and we then take remedial actions before it's too late when it comes to organization culture. That then brings the teams together, because it's quite meaningful when it comes to the journey of the entire G42. Each company might have its own differentiators, its own tone of voice, but in the end, we measure the employee net promoter scores through these 4 pillars.
And I believe the scores got to the level where you got to be a great place to work.
That's right.
In 2022.
That's right.
Would you say that the community that you have created since you have joined had a huge impact on the productivity of the employees across different industries that took G42 also to the next level?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, the minute you take care of the safety security bit, we are freeing people's mind to literally step up and start innovating, start creating new things, because they don't need to worry about the basic requirements to be in a company, in a country. So that is taken out of their...
Completely.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
So now they know that this is how it is, and what is the expectation has changed now. The context has changed now, and people have evolved and people have matured, the leaders have matured, which means that now they can contribute to the society, they can contribute to bigger things than getting stuck with the smaller things.
So when we look at the structure, if let's say a person would like to come to HR and have challenges that they want to discuss, how does this process go? So does the person come to HR, or does you have people that are placed in the what do you call not
business unit?
The business unit. So are there people placed in business units, or people have to come to HR to talk to you? How does this cycle works in G42?
So, the olden days, the perception of human capital function is like, being the mother, people can come and cry. And
that's very true. Until nowadays, we still have this perception.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we don't need to do that actually. The minute you've given, again, the basic principles to maneuver around, and then we create a reason for people to start talking to each other, and a season for people to literally have a relationship with each other. It is hardly ever that as a human capital function, we need to literally bring up a people issue.
Okay.
However, we also have a whistleblower platform where if they want to literally come up with anonymously a problem that even they don't want to know who is addressing this problem. So we've given an email for people who want to literally share about a problem by sharing their details. We have a whistleblower platform where they don't need to share their details. We've given different avenues to people to communicate. We have a communication expert in-house who would then look at ways of having dialogues, not just one-sided memos and messages. Yes, we do have human capital business partners with each of the business unit who then sits with the business, understands the business problems, understands the business solutions, and then we support this person in every which way possible functionally, so that the person's, again, time is freed up for attending to the people's problems of that business unit. So yes, they might have interactions with each other wherein they come up and speak about a problem that they are facing, because you can't always, problem is never the problem that is presented. The presenting problem could be totally different, and you could have a very different kind of a problem that when you actually probe into it, the presenting problem is very different.
Can you give me like more example on that, like a specific example? Like what do you mean by like the present problem? It could be with a hidden, let's say, challenges, right?
Absolutely.
Can you give me some examples on that?
So there could be a company that is literally looking to improve the culture, the productivity, the longevity of people. That could have a requirement of 150 people tomorrow, and if they start looking at temporary solutions by getting temporary floating people in the organization, the minute you have a lot of people as floating people with different motivations and behaviors than permanent people who's going to be here for a career, you're not literally creating a culture which is going to be something sustainable for the future.
And this is where you look at the core and you fix the core to be able to get the right people within the organization.
Exactly. So our responsibility is to push leadership, push their boundaries and show them what they don't know. The minute they start seeing what they don't know, and with again data and gut feeling, they will start reacting to that particular problem, to option 1, option 2, option 3, multiple solutions, which then we can take a solution finally.
Maybe we have been hearing a lot about coaching in organizations. What's your what do you believe? How can coaching support leaders and the people of the organization to go to the next level? Have you had this approach? Do you have mentors within the G42 organization?
Yes. In 2021, we started with our leadership journey, about 18 of them, a journey of leadership in transition program. So we created an academy for leaders and we called it Hunt as a Pack. And the leadership in transition program has multiple phases, and one of the phases is on coaching. So we have about 12 executive coaches that we have engaged with us, who will then coach these leaders, for which we need to have multiple tools again, so that it doesn't become just a seating arrangement for 1 hour of discussion. So we have done 360 assessments for our leaders. So we have asked our leaders, who do you want to give feedback about your own leadership style? And then we have given them the 360 tool. We have given them some psychometrics, which then gives them a mirror up against their face to show that face that they've never seen about themselves, including me, which means that gives you a huge area or that you can literally work with your coach to help you with changing if you wish to change, because there is no pressure. Nobody's telling you to change. If you really think that this is an area that you want to work on, you can work with the coach.
And have you seen from that approach since 2021, some of the leaders have had some different styling or changing and approaching their people in a different way? Have you seen
Absolutely. That explains why we got the Great Place to Work award. So with the success of that, we have now enrolled about 80 next level leaders into that program. As we speak, the third cohort is attending their first day. We are continuing with the journey with our leaders in coaching. Yes, coaching is a very, very powerful tool and technique which can literally help people to understand certain areas where you need to literally improve.
And it's quite enlightening. I'm going to start having a life coach from now on. It might help a lot also in different areas in our lives, right? Maybe this has been a very captivating discussion with lots of takeaways to learn from. And the most important takeaway that I took this from, and I think many of the audience who are listening to us right now or seeing us on YouTube, is that safety is a core pillar that you have to start from no matter where you are. Absolutely. This is how you can grow to the next level of innovation and support the people of any organization.
Absolutely.
But what would you say, how about we end on a tech-related note? So what role does technology play in G42's human capital function?
Our employee experience journey is, again, the core to our culture, which means that the minute the candidate decides to apply to G42 onwards, the entire life cycle is now a digital journey, which is curated for the purpose of great experience for our people, which means that we do have various digital deck that sit together, talk to each other, integrated, making sure that it's not an interrupted journey. So people could print out letters on their own, people could access all the information on their own without literally going through person or HR support, like the traditional personnel function where you literally had to call people to get things done.
So the whole paper process and the people involvement is completely out of the way. It makes the journey much smoother.
That's right. So we've created an internal platform called Omni, which is now our one-stop shop for all the human capital functional requirements.
Would you say also tech is helping you to acquire and get the right talents to the organization?
Absolutely. There are, again, gone are the days where you only look at big tech firms for support. There are so many small platforms available now. The trick is to integrate them and then to build them, again, making it a meaningful journey for the people.
So I truly believe that now we cannot just, in any company, regardless of technology or not, they gotta depend on the tech to be able to advance and get to the next level. Absolutely. With any organization. Otherwise, we're gonna stay where we are, right?
Absolutely. Not just on laptop. People are expecting to have it on their mobile, so that on the go, if I want to apply for something, it's all there. And I don't need to literally wait for laptop access or connection or data.
We work on our phones now, so it's and soon on our watch. So it's a different world. Maymee, this was absolutely inspiring. I believe the audience and myself have learned a lot. It's great to know that safety is one of the most important pillars for any human being in any sort of organization. But can you leave us with one thought? What would that be?
One thought. So I read a lot about Stoicism.
Okay.
Recently I was just coming across something that everybody knows. So Abraham Lincoln, in one of his speeches, was giving us a story that was in Wisconsin war times. He was sharing that one of the Eastern kings was asking a bunch of philosophers question that you have to come up with one sentence that makes me feel good, and it should be right all the time.
That is a thought.
So the philosophers came up with the one sentence: "This too shall pass."
This too shall pass.
Yeah. So anytime when I'm stressed or when I am not stressed, in the best of the happy moods, I always remember that this shall too pass, or actually it's this too shall pass.
This is a beautiful way to end our podcast, and it's a great start of the day and the end of the day. Thank you so much, Maymee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of the show. We hope you have a better understanding on the significance of creating an organizational culture that is safe, empowering, and collaborative. Thanks for listening to G42 On Air. If you enjoy our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and be sure to come back next time. Until then, this is Maysee Ali signing off from Abu Dhabi.